Tracy, where's Dad's old drill log from back in the mid '80s?
Up in the corner there by the owl.
In here? Okay. So what is that? 1982 to 2002? Wow. Okay. Okay, so this is basically how we did it. The name of the person, the date, the depth, the casing depth, the gallon per minute, and the county that we drilled it in. So the county that we were in today was Boynton. So we just keep following this on down, and we know the name of the man, so here we are. So we've got Boynton, 1 gallon per minute, 38 foot of casing, 300 foot deep. It was drilled on May 5th of 1984 for Mr. Fulton. That is absolutely crazy. Some of the most simple records, but it gives us great detail on the well that we're going to go frack. We already know the depth, we already know the casing, we already know the gallon per minute. Now, Mr. Fulton said that he thought it made 4 gallons per minute, but it does not. It makes 1 based on our records. So this was something that we drilled way back in the day with our very first well drilling rig. I'll show you a quick picture of that before we head out here onto the job site. So you see this right here? This would have been the drilling rig that drilled that well. It serviced our company for the first 2 years. Kind of crazy. I know a guy on a water well forum who's using this same rig to this day. Not the same exact rig, but the same model, same crane carrier, same chassis and everything. It took 3 days to drill 300 feet with that machine. Alright, so we finally got our trucks here. The ground is so soft we had to go ahead and put our mats down. We're 1 man short today, and we're working in a really narrow job site. There's really no room for us to turn around, so we had to pull in here, and we're gonna have to back all the way out the driveway. There's no way to turn this stuff around. So this well here was drilled in, I believe, 1984. Originally 300 feet deep, made 1 gallon per minute. Now, back then, in order for us to reach 300 feet, it took us 3 days. That's just the difference in technology and how fast drilling equipment was back then. This was before we used a large hammer, you know, before I was even born. But what they would use is basically a roller cone bit, and they would go down until they found hard enough rock to set casing in. So what we have to do now, we're just waiting for the well to fill itself up. We're filling it with our water to where we can pull the pump out. The gentleman had told me that they have changed the pump out twice in the past, and every time the plumber only used what they had on the truck, and I believe the pipe has been shortened twice each time it's been pulled out. So it probably originally had a 300 or a 280 or 250 foot pump in it, but right now it was so very heavy, it was all we could do just to lift the seal up to get the hose in the well. So what we're going to do is we'll pull it out, measure it, and I'm going to measure the depth of the well, make sure the well's still 300 feet, and we're going to probably put a new pump on it. I'm going to inspect the wire and the pipe to make sure, you know, we got enough distance there, make sure our wire's not bad. We're probably going to put on a new pump. And I was here yesterday to eyeball the site. The bladder tank was low on air, so I aired it up. And towards the end of the day, I'm going to go in the basement and install a medium-sized household filter, because there is no filter. So after hydro-fracking, we're going to blow loose all the sediment that's in the well, and the house really needs some sort of filtration system, even if it's just a regular old cartridge filter, to stop the sediment, to where it doesn't plug up things like the kitchen faucet and the washing machine, etc. But all right, we're just sitting here waiting, and until the well fills, we'll get the well pump all pulled out and we'll start the fracking process. All right, so we were pulling the well pump out. I'm going to show you why I don't use torque arresters. So this right here is exactly what happens to them. They break in half. The upper section of it's gone. This piece right here is about to break. This one's really thin. See, look, boom, broken in half. So this thing if it was placed directly on top of the pump, these fold backwards like this, and it makes it harder to get the well pump out. That was the first thing we noticed when we went to pull on it, was how hard and heavy this thing was. So yeah, that's why I don't use them. Gross. You're good. You're good. Don't pinch my hand. It's a big pump. Old McDonald. Old McDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
3/4, I believe.
It may be. If it's a 3/4, it's a big 3/4. That is a big motor. It's 160 pipe.
Yeah.
That's good. It's like modern day 200 PSI pipe. I'll check the wire, but it looks like it's good. They did a good job taping it.
It's just one spot was down there by the tree where I was.
It's in that pipe, so.
Yeah, it's good. It looks like it's in there at 300 foot. So only thing he needs is just a new pump put on it.
Yeah.
I'll eyeball the wire really closely, and
Yeah, whoever takes it did a good job.
yes. We'll move the pump out the way, and then we'll back the frack up, start transferring water over, and we'll get this frack going. Well, upon further inspection, the well pump is only a 2019, February of 2019. So that being said, it was probably only installed in 2020, making it only at this point 4 years old. So I'm gonna suggest the homeowner not replace the pump, because it's just gonna make his bill increase, I don't know, by 40%. So we're not gonna change the pump. We are gonna still plumb in a filter, but he was like dead set yesterday on replacing that pump. But I think I've talked him out of it. Hopefully he leaves that thing in there, because that thing's still got another 5 to 6, 7 years of life out of it. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I've been fighting a cold. I feel like hell. Dad's been fighting it too. I took a COVID test yesterday and I tested negative, so that's a good thing. Well, the inflatable packer has been installed down in the well at 75 foot. You can see that we have some water coming up here. Eventually what's going to happen is that water's going to stop, because since we're inflating the packer, we're going to lock it off. There's all the air bubbles that I blew out when I flowed my water. That's the importance of flowing water. You want to get any air out of the system. And the air bubbles traveled from 75 feet and they traveled on up. Dad's over here inflating the packer. And I have got the water pump going on the other side. I've got about another 75 gallons to fill this thing to the tip top, and then we're gonna hit it with 500 gallons. Good deal. Yeah, it's amazing how much air gets in the system, but you gotta bleed it out in the wintertime. Gotta bleed out all that water. All right, I'm gonna go over here and shut off my water, so I'm good to go. And then we'll start the fracking process. I did not plan on doing a video today, so I don't have any tripod or any camera mount. So I'm gonna do this old school, and I'm gonna multitask. Alright, well, that was about 300 gallons of water in 5 minutes. So you do the math on how fast we were injecting water into that well. This well did not take much at all to bust open. I think we saw maybe 700 And then it took third gear wide open, which was kind of impressive. Third gear, 500 psi is typically what you see on the end of a frack. And we saw this after about 5 minutes and 300 gallons. So this well just didn't, it didn't take a whole lot for it to bust loose. Time to let that go back up. Now the water truck over here, that is about 2/3 of the way empty. We've only got about 700, well, I guess about 500 gallons of water left in it at this point. And we have refilled this. This will be, I think, round 3 that I'm about to hit it with. So we filled this big tank like 2.5 times at this point. It's right here, but if you look in here, it's a little bit fuller. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hit the frack now for a 3rd time, 3rd gear. This thing just keeps taking it, man. Keeps taking it. Probably hit it one more time after this, and then we'll go in the basement and we'll work on the filter system. Basically emptied out all the water. The tank is completely empty. That truck over there is completely empty. And I'm gonna go ahead now and open this valve right here. This valve is gonna take all the pressure out of all of the lines. It's gonna let any water that's in the well, it's gonna flow back and fill up that tank. Because if we do not open that valve and we deflate the packer that's in the well, the packer will eject out of the well due to any pressure and volume of water trapped behind it. So we gotta let that flow for about 10 minutes and then we can deflate the packer. Yep, the gauge is on 0, not on 60. Okay, so this is what we've got to work with. Luckily he's cleaned out all the cobwebs since I was here yesterday. This tank was actually only at 15 psi when I got here yesterday. Aired it up, got it going good. The whole house is plumbed in 1/2 inch CPVC. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it somewhere in here. He's got a shark bite and a valve and all that, but we're going to do away with all this, move it over to PEX. I'm going to mount my filter right here, and once I get all that done, I'll show it to you. Well, it's been about 15 minutes, and I have got the new filter system all installed. I went ahead and just kind of did a nice little sweeping curve here. That way I could mitigate and take a bunch of 90s out of the equation. We're kind of in this really old mechanical room here, so it's not like I really needed to worry about space. And based how this is done, I really don't see there being an issue with it. Didn't want to restrict any of the flow any more than it kind of already is, being that the whole house is plumbed and nothing but one little line of 1/2 inch CPVC. So he said that they've always had low pressure problems here. So basically the issue is not low pressure, the issue is low volume. You can't flow but so much volume through 1/2 inch. So rather than putting a typical smaller 2 inch by 10 inch filter in, I put a 4 inch by 10 inch filter in. That way it will reduce his frequency on changing the filters, and it will help to increase flow through the filter. We don't want the filter being a smaller one restricting the flow and restricting the pressure any more than it's already being reduced right here. So went ahead and left him filter, got this all mounted, got it mounted to the concrete block wall, valve here, ready to go. So all we got to do now is go back out to the well, drop the pump in the well, and get this system all hooked up and turned back on. What was kind of funny, if you notice all the water on the floor, so he had gave us a bucket when I cut the CPVC that was originally there. I caught all the water in the bucket, and then as soon as I picked the bucket up, there was a freaking hole in the bottom of it. So I handed it to Mike. I was like, Mike, hurry up, take it outside, take it outside. It was terrible. So, you know. All right, I've got the well pump all dropped in, the wellhead all hooked back up, changed the old well seal over to a modern day well seal, and since that system was hanging on a plastic elbow, I went ahead and changed that over to a stainless steel elbow. So I'm headed in the basement with him right now, and we're gonna go turn the power on. One big dog. That is one big curly brown chocolate Labrador. Hey big boy, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Look how big your head is compared to my hand. Yeah. You know which one it is? All right. Yeah, it's the one that's off. Yeah. It's the third one down on the left. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now we ready. Now this thing ought to take a minute, because I have got to basically fill everything back up. Gotta love a low pressure cutout switch. Gotta hold that thing. Hold it until she reaches about 20 or 30. Let's see if I can let go at 20. Yeah. See, the problem with that is if it gets a burst of air and the air goes in there, click, click, and it trips it. Cool. All right. Well, everything looks hunky-dory. Running good. Good deal, good deal. Okay, no leaks in here. That looks great. No leaks. No leaks. Everything's dry. Good deal. Double check, make sure all my clamps are tight.
Oh, you moved that cutoff valve.
Yeah, so look, so how you change this, you turn this off.
Right.
You turn this one off.
Okay.
Like so.
Right.
And then you press this little button here.
Oh, okay.
And when you press this button, it's going to relieve the pressure that's inside of the can, okay?
Right.
So you press this, hear it?
Mm-hmm.
It got rid of the pressure in the can.
Okay.
Might have to hold it for like 10 or 15 seconds, press it a couple of times. Right now it's got air in it, so it's a little bit more frustrating. Then you use your wrench to take it off, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, when you go to put this thing on, do not tighten it with that. At least if you do, don't tighten it like crazy. Mm-hmm. I always tell people tighten it by hand. Mm-hmm. Then turn it on and see if it leaks. If it leaks, then you can use the wrench. Mm-hmm. Only use the wrench to get it off. Okay. Because if you ever tighten an oil filter on a car too tight with the wrench and then you can't get it off, okay, so the same thing applies here. Mm-hmm. You know, if you follow the directions on an oil filter, they say tighten it by hand and then an eighth of a turn. So yeah, you just take that to Lowe's or anywhere you want, and it'll be obvious which one it is.
Yeah, yeah.
The pump's all in. The wellhead is all wrapped up. We've got the mats all picked up, and it is about time for us to get on out of here. System is on. Customer's happy. All I got to do is go over here and put this concrete thimble back on the well, and we got about a 45-minute journey back home. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's kind of short, kind of different. I just hadn't put out any content over the last few weeks. I'd went on vacation, then I got sick. I'm still trying to get over this cold. Winter time. Our drilling rig is 2.5 hours down south getting worked on, so there's just a whole lot going on right now, and I just haven't made any content. It's tax season. There's a whole lot, but other than that, we did you know, get a good frack today. The numbers were a little bit lower than normal, which just to me says that there wasn't much plugging up that well. if it's been usable, viable for 40 years, you know, it's probably been fine. It's just slowly dissipated over a period, you know, of 4 decades, to where the sediment that plugs up the veins and aquifers that flow to fill the well with water has finally gotten to the point where, you know, that sediment has really slowed production. So all it really needed was, you know, 500, 600, 700 pounds of pressure pushing on it, and then we flowed a couple thousand gallons of water through it, and everything's good to go. But thank y'all for watching. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button on y'all's way out if you have not already. We are at 20% people who watch my videos are subscribed, so 80% of y'all are not. So do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and I will see y'all on the next one.